I've seen a lot of new faces in Darktide lately, which is great. What's less great is that a lot of them aren't making it past the first few rooms on higher difficulties. Which, fair enough, Auric and Maelstrom missions can be brutal. But once you understand what the game actually expects of you, they become a lot more manageable and a lot more fun. Greetings and welcome friends, I'm Ash and today I want to show you how to survive and thrive once Darktide stops playing nice. Let's get into it with the most important lesson of them all: cardio beats chaos. If you take away just one thing from this guide, let it be this. On the higher difficulties, Darktide throws an absurd amount of enemies at you, and at this point you have two options. Stand your ground and die like a brave fool, or do a little bit of cardio and bravely advance in the backwards direction to a more defensible position, ideally a choke point in a previously cleared area. It might feel counterintuitive to retreat, especially if it means backtracking through multiple rooms, but it is by far the safest play, because you know exactly what is behind you, and it's nothing. You just cleared it. So if you get a boss breathing down your neck and your team is too busy dealing with 20 crushers, just take that boss on a scenic walk across the whole map. If you try to push forward instead, all you'll do is drag the boss into a fresh pack of elites, and now you're surrounded, overwhelmed, and probably dead. So, when in doubt, fall back, assess the situation, and only then strike. Trust me, it will save your life. While guns are great and all, melee is still king in Darktide. No matter your class, no matter your build, you're going to have to smack some heretics. So before diving into Auric, make sure you've got the melee basics down. The big one? Learning how to juggle a horde without taking damage. That means staggering attackers with your own swings, dodging to avoid hits, and pushing to keep enemies off of you. If done right, this lets you control near infinite swarms without ever getting touched. The big trick is to stick to the edges of the horde. Do not get surrounded. You always want to leave yourself some room to move. And if things start looking dicey, just back off. Funnel enemies into a choke point and delete them one by one while the rest helplessly wait their turn. It is not a very complicated skill, but it does take practice. So the next time you see a horde, roll up your sleeves and get stuck in. Try mixing attacks, dodges, and pushes until it all clicks in your head. You will mess up. You'll probably even go down a couple of times until you get it. But once it sticks, it'll be with you for life. And that is not a joke. I learned these tricks back in the original Vermintide, and they are still relevant a decade later in Darktide. I usually skip over advanced tech when it comes to my guides. Most of it offers minor gains and takes way too much time and effort to learn and master. But sliding? Sliding is different. Sliding is not just a trick, it is straight up busted. By sliding around on the floor like a dog that is about to ruin a very expensive carpet, you can dodge a frankly ridiculous amount of damage, especially from ranged enemies. When done at a slight angle, a couple of slides can carry you straight for a full squad of gunners without ever taking a scratch. It is one of the strongest tools in your arsenal and something you should absolutely get comfortable with. You would be surprised how many quote-unquote impossible situations you can get out of just by scooting around on your knees. So, how do you do it? Well, there are two ways. First, dodge sliding is done by dodging and then crouching. That is it. The trade-off to this approach is that it uses two of your invisible dodge charges, so do not spam it. Save it for when you need to get out right now. Then there is the truly busted sprint sliding. Just start running and then crouch. If you chain it correctly, you can keep sliding for as long as your stamina holds, which, for most builds, is a very, very long time. It might take a bit of practice to get used to, but it is a very easy problem to solve. Just start sliding whenever you're moving between fights. Before long, you'll find yourself sweeping floors all across Satoma like a true veteran. On higher difficulties, Darktide throws everything at you, and often all at once. And when that happens, you cannot always rely on your teammates to cover all of your weaknesses. So your best bet is to bring weapons that can handle as many different threats as possible. There are 4 core enemy types you need to prepare for: hordes, specials, armored elites, and bosses. If your loadout can handle at least 3 out of the 4, you are in a great spot. And if you can handle all 4, congratulations, you have probably stumbled into one of the meta builds. Take the Relic Sword Zealot for example. The Relic Sword chews through melee threats like a wood chipper, everything from the humble Poxwalker to the mighty Chaos Spawn. But its downside is that it's very slow, which leaves you wide open to disablers like trappers and hounds. So, what do? You pair it with the Revolver, a weapon that is very quick to draw, accurate, and perfect for picking off specials. Throw in incendiary grenades to bail your team when things go sideways, and boom, you got yourself a build that covers all bases. So while it is great to focus on one thing and do it exceptionally well, make sure to patch up your weaknesses. Because as I've learned throughout my World of Warcraft days, it doesn't matter how much DPS you can do if you're laying down face first on the floor. I have already done a full guide with Auric ready builds for every class, so check that out if you want the nitty-gritty details. But for now, here's the short version. You should prioritize 2 things when it comes to your builds: survivability and damage. Toughness is your most important resource. It is basically a magic shield that protects your health bar. And the more of it you can stack for your talents, whether it is via toughness boosts, damage reduction, or just because you can regenerate it, the easier your life will be. Next comes damage, because, as it turns out, dead enemies do not fight back. So the faster you cleave through them, the safer you will be. Especially on higher difficulties where every second counts. So when designing a build, don't just blindly follow a single path through the talent tree. Instead, scan the entire tree and look out for standout talents, ones that offer a unusually high amount of durability or damage, and then try to route your build through as many of them as possible. Yes, that might mean skipping some quality of life perks and not fully finishing a branch, but the raw power you'll gain in return is well worth the trade-off. Let's get straight to the point. Wound Curios are bad. To get any value from them, you need to die twice before reaching a med station or using a med stim. And if that's happening regularly, an extra wound won't really do much for you. Actually, scratch that. It will do something. It will make your build actively worse. Having a wound curio means you're giving up something far more useful, like plus 17% toughness, which can help make sure you don't take damage in the first place. So why plan to fail when you can set yourself up for success instead? Now, if you're unsure what Curios to use, here's a tried and tested combo that works on every single class and every single build, from your very first Auric run all the way to Havoc 40. For the main attributes, you want stamina, toughness, and toughness. And then for the minor perks, you want cooldown reduction, stamina regeneration, and bonus toughness. You'll eventually want to tweak these based on your build's specific needs. But honestly, this setup will serve you well no matter what you play. I have been using it for years and it has never, not once, let me down. Everyone likes being the hero, charging through fire and hordes of elites to rescue their downed teammates. But on higher difficulties, that is a great way to go and meet the Emperor. So before you even think about saving others, focus on saving yourself. Unless you can get into a good position to res them and guarantee that you will not die in the process, It is far better to leave them on the floor. Yes, I know it does suck, but if they're in a bad spot, no amount of heroics will save them. All you will accomplish by trying is ruining the entire run. So play it smart, stay alive, and just rescue them later. Stick with the team is the most generic advice in any co-op game, and yeah, it applies here too. But only sort of. You don't need to be permanently glued to your teammates. In fact, you really shouldn't be. You'll end up stepping on each other's toes, ruining each other's plans, and eating hits meant for the other guy. Instead, just keep them in view. Be close enough to help if they get swarmed or disabled, but do not breathe down their neck. Trust them to do their job while you do yours. And if the team starts drifting apart during the chaos, try to stay in groups of 2. That way, if someone gets pinned, there is always a friend nearby to save the day. I know from experience that a helping hand in a bad moment can flip the whole run around. So do make sure someone has your back and that you have theirs. In my experience, the vast majority of losses on higher difficulties come from specials picking people off during chaotic moments. So if you want to give your team the best possible shot at survival, be the one that handles the high priority specials. Of course, this is easier said than done. It means staying alert even when everything is going to hell around you, but it is one of the most valuable skills you can develop, and one that is useful even beyond just Darktide. My biggest tip? Listen. Darktide has amazing sound design, so you can often pinpoint where a special is just by hearing them. If you think you have a bead on where they are, break away from the melee and take them out fast. Then dive back in, or just keep running until the next batch shows up. Do this consistently, and I guarantee you your win rate will skyrocket. It is that impactful of a job, and sadly, that often overlooked. And there you have it, a collection of simple tips to help you not just survive the higher difficulties, but actually enjoy them. If you found anything to be unclear, or if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll do my best to help out. Thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed this, or even if you didn't, please do let me know. If you'd like to see more, make sure to subscribe, like the video, hit the stupid bell, pet your favorite arbiter, and do whatever other nonsense you gotta do these days. Thank you for sticking to the very end, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye bye!